It's okay. Probably gonna experience the same thing when I get home.
Your wife hasn't learned just to go to bed.
She actually used to work in the Parks and Recreation profession as well, so she's a little more understanding than most are. Awesome. All right, I can't see anything on there. There it is. I can't see it. All right, basically, I just prepared this to show you a few statistics and information that I don't know if it's ever been presented before, and then we can hit on the budget. I know there's probably a few things in there that you want to talk about. First thing here is activity breakdown by services. And this just shows for this past fiscal year, with youth athletics, we had 3,875 participants. Adult, you see the numbers there. And with youth athletics, if you include the parents, just the parents, not grandparents, aunt, uncle, anybody like that, and I actually subtracted a couple hundred from that number, that 11,500 right there, to make up for brothers and sisters. Just out of youth athletics alone this year, 11,500 people got something out of it. So that's almost the town's whole population, even though I understand it's not, equivalent to. Indoor programs, 1,500, outdoor programs, 3,000, special events, 5,000, and I didn't put the 4th of July celebration in there because it would have skewed that whole bar graph right there. But the fire marshal's estimate this past year was 75,000 people. And if you think that's almost 6 times the 12,000 people that live in Harrisburg, and we've already had people this year call from Florida in February wanting to know when we were going to do it because they drive up every year. So while I understand you all's emphasis on saving money and being efficient, I also feel like as a Parks and Recreation professional, the Parks and Recreation Department, I gauge success on the amount of people that get something out of the stuff we offer. So I think that just that right there is pretty successful for a Parks and Recreation Department. This right here is kind of a little bit of information on the youth athletics growth since the town has taken it over in the fall of 08. I assume it was the fall of 08 because that's as far back as I could find information on. But as you can see right there, while some stuff does fluctuate, everything is on a constant uptick, with the exception of football, but I can guarantee you that will go up. And from 09, which is the first full season that we had youth athletics, there were 2,787 participants. In 2010, that went to 3,292, and in 2011, that went to 3,689 in 1 year. So from 09 to 010, it went up 505. 10 to 11, it went up 397. And the only thing so far this year that we have to gauge it on is the spring. So in the spring of 11 and the spring of this year, so far we're already up 186 participants. So you can count on the overall yearly number increasing once again.
What about the summer?
We really don't offer anything in the summer because what you run into is people going out of town, and you either A, don't have the registration because people are going on vacation, or B, you have the registration, but then you have nothing but forfeits because nobody's there. People actually want us to get our spring seasons over with before schools are out, so that they can leave on vacation. This right here is the 2011-2012 athletic revenue versus budget. The sports right there, you can see in red the revenue in Yellow was the 2012, 11-12 budget expense. Basically, year to date, the athletic revenue is $361,000, right at 362. The athletic expense year to date is $309,845. So right now we're in the good 52,117. And when I say that, I mean that those sports right there completely cover everything in athletics, not just their particular sports. So, we're still that much to the good. That also includes concessions, which are approximately $8,000 right now. So, and then you can see over there the totals for that sports line items. Like I just said, revenue, budget expense, year-to-date expense. So, athletics. Yes, sir.
You're telling me your revenues are what again?
361,962. If you add baseball, softball, soccer, football, all of those right there together.
So you're asking for 388
Do what?
for the athletics budget? You're asking for 388,000?
Oh, for this coming up here?
Yes.
Yes, and there's a few reasons for that. That's still less than what our projected revenues for this year are, taking into consideration the average increase that we've had every year. On the very next slide, I was going to talk about a possible new sport that we've been approached by some people that we're thinking about throwing out this year, testing the waters with it. And then, it's just the increase in participants is the increase in cost, but it's also that much increase in your revenues as well.
So what you're saying is you're not necessarily projecting as much on the revenue side, but you're going ahead and projecting the cost on the expenditure side. So there's a possibility the revenues will keep up with the expenditures?
I honestly think that the revenues will stay ahead of the expenditures. We're actually, I believe we're still projecting more in revenues this year than we are in expenses. That is this past year. This isn't next year projections or anything. All this information is this year's.
That's actually. So are you comparing this year versus next year?
Well, no. I don't think so.
Current year.
Yeah, that's 2011, 2012.
2012 revenue versus budget.
And since the town is taking over athletics, it's grown average 450 participants a year. So we're continuing that trend, taking into consideration that trend can continue.
But what you're saying is, though, and I think it's a little bit confusing, is that it seems like, okay, we're making money, but you're not in the black. I mean, your budget's what, $800,000-$900,000.
No, just for athletics, it's totally separate than parks and recreation. As far as I'm concerned, we're making money with athletics.
But you're not, if you take into consideration your grass cutters and the people that maintain
The
the
fully
field.
allocated cost.
You also
You're
gotta
not
look at whether
taking everything into
sports
consideration.
sat on that field or not. The town put 2 football fields over there, the grass would have to be cut whether we played football or not, right? So
Yeah, but you can't say that I agree with Phil.
there is
You
some.
can't say they're subsidizing some of the cost, absolutely. But you're not making
making
money.
your expenses. In other words, is your cost
Wrapped up in
including some of these programs?
My
Your salary.
salary, no, but our athletics coordinator's salary is.
Is he the only one?
But see, that's my point, is that a fully allocated look at that. But I think you're making a lot of money. That was great. I mean, $361,000, based on a $900,000 budget, you're making what, 35% of your budget? Tell me another department that does that, besides water, sewer, and stormwater.
They're projecting about 41,000 in salary, just coming out of the 415 revenue stream. It's 44,000, 41,000. Let's look at that.
Right.
Broke down. Oh, okay, I'm ahead of it.
Pretty much everything in the athletics line items stayed the same. We did increase certain sports to keep up with the increase in participants. But the only real highlight we had here was the running that we've been approached about. This year, we've been approached to start a track and field club, and I think it's a great idea. I think that this appeals to a demographic that we don't appeal to right now because all of our sports are team sports. This appeals to kids who would more like to do stuff on their own, may not enjoy the team group setting. So this is something I think is actually a great idea. The first year though, we've decided to kind of test the waters with it. This will be the first fall for a good bit of people in the department, which is our busiest time of the year, so we didn't want to take on too much. So we agreed to, for at least the first year, to limit it to 50 participants. And what we'll try to do is limit those just to Harrisburg residents. The approximate cost of the department will be about $100 per participant. Registration will be set at $100 per participant. And right there is what it would include: 3 weekly practices, 3 meets, uniform, a USATF membership, and a chance to advance to state, regional, and national meets, which will be paid for by the participants themselves, because it's really up to them whether they want to do it or not. So we don't want to pay for that and choose not to do it.
Where are you doing it? Where are you do this?
They're going to practice at Harrisburg Park, Farm Hill Park, and then the meets are just different areas. There could be one in Charlotte, could be one in Greensboro. We sit down with the people who are helping run it and the volunteer coordinators and talk about what they thought was most beneficial. Because we actually have a lady who's willing to step up and help us, who moved here from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and she actually headed up their Parks and Recreation Department's track and field team. And then we provide places to practice, like I said, Farm Hill, Harrisburg Park, and then another cost to us, we would have to pay $60 to register the department as a USA track and field member.
$60?
60. That's it. So, Lee kind of messed with me when we were doing this. He thought that it was $60 per participant, and it scared me when he sent it back to me. The amount was so high. But, I think this is, there's a strong running population here. I've already seen interest, I know at least 10 people who'll step up right now and help us with this.
Is this in the fall?
In the fall, yeah.
Will that hurt any other fall sports?
I don't think so, because I think you're appealing to a completely different demographic here. Your soccer players, your baseball, football, softball, cheerleading, they kind of like the team setting. This is more appealing to the individual
What's the
performers.
ages of the road?
The ages were what, 8 to 15? 8 to 15.
Don't they have spring season too?
Spring is actually track and field. This is like cross country running. Spring is we're not dipping into that yet. But it's shot put, discus, all that stuff. So this that's the only major difference as far as athletics go.
Would the high school have cross-country money?
They do.
They do.
So, but the middle school and elementaries, they don't, probably.
Middle school, they do.
I honestly don't know about
Middle school, we're a feeder program for all that, anyway, even middle school. All the kids that play football, I think we read play football. No, we are a feeder program.
I got just a couple questions on your athletics, since we're on athletics right now.
All right.
Just a couple. Insurance, all of it looked pretty decent, actually. You didn't go up much on too much of anything. Insurance, you have sports employee insurance. It was $3,000 last year, $7,000, a little over double this year. Was there a reason for that in particular?
We got to, you want to do this, let this president finish up into the.
Well, he's in athletics right now.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna do his presentation, so
Yeah.
precursor to that, and then we'll dive into that.
I'll speak through it real quick.
Sorry, I'm trying to.
And I'm the type of person. I showed you the good. I'll show you the not so good now. This is the Parks and Recreation. you can see here that, we're gonna ask for a little more assistance with this, but you can see revenues, budget expenses, year-to-date expenses, up there for, certain things, line item specific, and then the total there. So we're still kind of, year-to-date, not exactly, breaking the bank from what we were budgeted. And then from what I understand, July 4th may be a little skewed because, even though, the money taken in at the actual July 4th event last year was in this fiscal year, I believe it got moved to the last fiscal year for a full representation of what the July 4th 2011 brought in. And that same thing will happen this year for 2012. So, but we have rentals, program special events. Our programs revenues are a little skewed, and we've actually already taken steps to correct that. We've worked out a new deal with our registration company that we use online. There was some things that were kind of getting lost in translation. What was happening was that when an athletics registration would be over, we would still have say tennis or bridge or some kind of registration open for programs, and everybody who would come in and sign up for athletics late, their registration fee would be taken out of programs. So it actually made the program's revenue skewed a little bit. And we've worked that out. We're actually doing some training tomorrow on the new system they have set up. And also, something that I'm going to look at doing possibly is right now we do an 80-20 split with our instructors, and we're covering the 2% registration fee through our registration program. It may be minuscule, but I'm going to look at trying to change that to 79-21. So we're both, taking that. We're both contributing 1% to the registration fee. It seems minuscule, but you should see how many people we have signed up right now for tennis or jump rope camp, soccer camp, any of that stuff. It'll definitely add up. Some of the highlights that we had in the Parks and Rec line items, I guess we'll just skip this if you'd like, and we can talk about the budget when we get to it. But that's a few things that you might want to hit on, and I'll explain what they mean when we get there. But here is basically our request breakdown. You can see on the left there how much we're requesting for sports and how much for parks and recreation. And then on the right there, from our projected revenues, you can see that we're only asking for about a little more than half from the general fund there. So, and those revenue projections, they may change a little bit because I wasn't taking into consideration when we did those projections all the changes that we made that I just talked about. So our revenues may be a little bit more than that. And something else I don't think that has ever been presented is all the programs that we offer. If you look right there, that's basically a list of what we offer now. It's 42 total programs between athletics, programs, and special events. You see all the stuff we offer there. I know you can't see right now at the bottom of athletics we have running that's starred because that's pending approval. The Taste of Harrisburg there, that's going to be something that we're trying to change up this year. We are thinking about possibly doing that in conjunction with the craft fair that happens at the farmers market. Not necessarily doing it at the farmers market, but maybe moving the craft fair up here. That way you appeal to a larger audience and you maybe get more people out to the actual Taste of Harrisburg. They're coming for the craft fair, but they're seeing the what all Harrisburg has to offer. And we've talked about going Taste of Harrisburg twice a year, craft fairs twice a year. It almost kind of fit like a glove, but we're still kicking that idea around. We want to change the name of Taste of Harrisburg too. It's been conveyed to us that it was rather confusing. People thought they were going to come out and have some food when they didn't. And then the basketball clinic there, this will be the first year that we do that. We have a great working relationship with UNC Charlotte. They've come out and did a free softball clinic for us. They've come out and done a free soccer clinic, and Mike's got started on them coming out and do a free basketball clinic with us. So they're actually great. They help us out a lot. This right here is the current facilities that we offer. Total, you see everything that we kind of handle, take care of there. It's about 97 acres and 4,000 square feet, plus the acreage of the Pitt School Road Elementary playing fields. I couldn't figure that out. Included in there is 12 full-size baseball, softball, soccer, and football fields, approximately 4.5 miles of walking trail, 3 shelters, 14 bathrooms, 20 plus picnic areas, and everything you see there. I just don't think that, I actually know firsthand that people don't realize the stuff that we have, especially in the public, because when we did an event at Farmville Park, there wasn't a whole lot of people there, but half the people that were there didn't even know either Farmville was there or that we were the ones that took care of and, upkept Farmville. So, there's quite a lot of stuff, and it's kind of misleading because Pitt School Road and Harrisburg, they're not ours. They're actually the schools, the counties, and then but we still take care of it. We still use it.
And tied to that, there's an agreement with the county that Dan made that we were going to cut the grass. Use our resources to cut the grass. The county cuts the grass for school property. So the contract is 2 more years on it. Unfortunately, we're stuck, but we'll go back to the county doing their part, and we will supplement if we need to, but we can flip the model so we can save some money on grass.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I think we did that wasn't because we wasn't getting done as often as the way we like it. So we took that.
Well, that's usually when we had it, I pushed my best field many times, so, you do what you need to do.
Right.
But the way he changed the model, put the whole dollar amount on us, county would do the fertilizing and the hand tilling and whatever.
I don't know, not to defend him or anything, but I did notice when I was looking in the master plan that, while it may not be the agreement he set up, it does say in the master plan for us to take care of those fields. But I'm sure that it was more on a give and take basis than us basically doing everything. But just a few facts here, I understand, and I've caught it ever since I've been working in this profession. People think Parks and Recs have about as much fun as the stuff we offer. We really don't do anything. It doesn't provide anything for the community. But these are studies backed up with research. Community parks, they can make up 33% of residential real estate value. Homes within 1,500 feet of a park, 3 to 9% increase in home value. 77% of buyers listed natural open space and parks as essential or very important. And you can read those, even down to the last 2. Parks and open spaces create a high quality of life that attract businesses and residents and communities. And then corporate CEOs say that employees' quality of life is the 3rd most important factor in locating a business.
That 4th bullet, youth and adult sport events are major contributors to local tourism and visitation. That slide that you did at the very beginning told the number of participants that we had, that would come to all of our events. It'd be neat if we could put an average dollar value on the amount of money spent per person in a town. Because if you host a tournament, or if those people come in and buy gas, they buy food, they buy all kinds of stuff. And that's part of economic development.
Economic impact.
Yeah.
That's what it is, the economic impact.
It's a positive.
You could probably get that from the tourism folks, because Donnie Broom's been doing it for years and arguing over how much he's not bringing it or bringing it in. So they've got numbers based on the size of what you're doing.
It'd be neat to know what that dollar value per person is, and use that as a multiplier to the number of people that come to Harrisburg to see what kind of economic impact we have here in Harrisburg.
Well, that's true, and this actually brings me to the next point here. That we're so populated in youth sports that we can't hold them all in Harrisburg. We have to send some of them out to Pitt School Road just to accommodate soccer. This is very recent. So recent that I was here at 9 o'clock last night putting it in the budget. It's been brought to my attention that there's a parcel of land right beside Harrisburg Park that is for sale. And this is Harrisburg Park here. This is that piece of land that's for sale. And if you look down here, it's actually this piece here. And it kind of starts here, goes down, and then goes to the railroad tracks and follows it and comes back up. That's a bank owned by Wells Fargo. And it's actually part of a larger 75-acre tract. It's this parcel, and this parcel. Kind of runs up next to the credit union. I first learned about this a couple weeks ago because right here is where we shoot our fireworks off on the 4th of July. And it's been a pain in the butt trying to get their permission again this year, just like it was last year. But it kind of hit me that, hey, this is bank owned. So, why don't we try to get this? We need it. So I contacted a gentleman named Bill Somerville, who's in charge of marketing this land for Wells Fargo. And at first I approached him about a possible full donation of that 20-acre tract.
I like that.
That was, yeah. Well, I mean, that would have been awesome, right? But that was a big no.
You might have got raised.
Yeah, I know.
Pulled down.
But, I offered up, hey, we could call them Wells Fargo Fields at Harrisburg Park. I said a giant bit of our population works at Wells. There's a Wells Fargo on the corner of the entrance to that park. Possible sponsorship rights for X amount of years or something. And it was just a no-go. So just a little bit of information about this land. Lee and I went out and walked the other day, and Mike and I did a few days ago as well. This area right here, it would be very minimal, if any clearing at all, to put 2 full-size soccer fields right there. There would be a little bit of grading that needs to be done, but not a lot. Not a lot of dirt moving. It's a very gradual grade. And of course, this is just me looking at it with the naked eye. And then this area right here, that's more than enough room to take every single soccer field that's at Pitt Schools Road right now and put in that area. And you would have all of our kids playing soccer in Harrisburg. And you'd have all of our kids playing soccer at the same park. And not to mention, this provides more than just soccer, because if you look, you have all of this wooded area right here to do something with. Put in
That's a part for the trails or whatever.
put in trails, bike trails, dog park, frisbee golf course, anything. And it would take Harrisburg from being about a 38-acre park to being about a 58-acre park. It would honestly make it one of the premier parks, I believe, in the whole county. And trust me, I know firsthand there's people every day that leave Harrisburg to go to other places, to go to Frank List, Reed Creek, the Concord Greenway, to go run, to go walk. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I do it. I go run, and it gets monotonous to run around Farm Hill, which is our biggest track. It's only 3/4 of a mile. I know of people that go to Frank List because their trail's 2 miles. They're leaving Harrisburg every day because something like this isn't available to them. Also, as many of you just saw in the pictures the mayor so kindly showed around a few minutes ago, I've started mountain biking. And I've gone down to a place called Sherman's Branch a lot recently that's in the middle of nowhere. It's off Harrisburg Road. There's nothing near there at all. And I've been out there probably 3 or 4 times, and there's never been less than 20 cars out there at any given time. I've been there early in the morning, I've been there after work, I've been there on the weekends, weekdays, and I've been there at lunchtime. And when my wife and I go at lunchtime, we take our lunch with us, come back, eat lunch, go back out and ride. If you had something like that in Harrisburg, which if you had this part of the park you provide, people would go out in Harrisburg as opposed to, bringing their lunch, in my opinion.
Go to the parks or the public works area. When I was talking with the former head of that department, one of the questions I had for him was if there was a way to basically get from that facility we already own into our park, if we were to do some type of merging of resources in one area. At the time, it was talking about building a joint use building on the land they already have. And he was telling me there was a trail that they go across to go from the Public Works Division to our area. Do they basically cut through Wells Fargo's land, or is that something we own?
No, it's a cut through. There's actually right here along this path. This is our overflow parking lot right here in Harrisburg. And there's really not a road right here. That's just where the grass is worn down and people pull up in there. But once you get on the other side of this tree line on the Wells' land, there actually is a dirt path right here.
That's where you hit the out the backside of 4th of July, we're letting people get out that way as well. That's where they're going.
Yeah, and it does cut across onto our property. And to be honest with you, this right here, for 4 months out of the year, we already maintain that land. Because in order to shoot off fireworks from there, the grass has to be cut. So we start, reeling that grass in the spring so that it'll be ready by the time the summer gets here.
How much does Wells want for that?
Not a lot. The tax value on it is $1,053,000. The reason for that being is that it's zoned industrial right now, and the gentleman with the marketing company told me that it's one of the last industrial sites that's near to the.
So residential 9 houses.
It's not certified.
Well, here's my thing, and this is just me being a visionary Parks and Rec guys. That if somebody does buy that for industrial use, you're going to have this right here, and you're never going to have the opportunity to at least try to add on to your park ever again.
But you might have 300 new jobs and pay $80,000 a piece.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's what I'd rather for the next
Yeah,
7 years,
but-
rather than up in soccer field.
Right, but they still have this right here that's in zone industrial that they can purchase.
But those people that take those 80,000 jobs, their kids will have no place to play. Just remember that.
We were also looking at Robson Church, that those parcels.
Right here. This is kind of where the park ends, and I believe it's these three right here.
Right.
So honestly, if you were to, and Lee and I have actually kind of dreamed big with this right here, but if you were to get this as well as these three over here, I mean, your park would be tremendous. I mean, in my opinion, you would no doubt have the nicest park in the county.
We own that other.
And we already own this area right here, which is this tract.
It's the old well site.
So, I mean, that would be adding as well.
But you said it was tax value 1.05 million.
Mhm.
What is it they were asking? Tax value or something else?
They actually had, when I was speaking with Bill, he hadn't got all the marketing material together yet. He said that they didn't have an actual asking price, but they wanted to sell the whole 75 together, but they were willing
The
to,
3 parcels that you're referring to?
but they're willing to just, sell us this 20 if we were to make them an offer. And he didn't have an amount, but he did tell me that he's pulled comps that he's going to present to them that range from 40 to 60,000 an acre. So actually, the 1.05 is worst case scenario almost. That they're wanting 60,000 an acre for it. The 40,000 was, we were thinking, what, 7? Yeah, about $750,000. And I guess that, what I'm asking for tonight is just your permission to maybe try to pursue this. Like Lee and I were discussing, I don't want to go out and buy it, but I do want to go out and try to pursue it. And I don't want to do that if it's an automatic no, from council, if we were to actually get into serious discussions.
One thing I think you were on to earlier when you approached the guy and asked him about the donation and all the benefits that would go with that. Was that who was it you were specifically talking to? Was it the real estate broker? Was it?
It was, his name is Bill Somerville. He works for Cassidy and Turley, which is the company that's marketing the land for Wells Fargo.
So I would think that one thing you're going to almost automatically see is when you go to the real estate broker who's listing the property, they're going to be always inclined to not donate anything because they'd be donating their commission along with it. Whereas I don't, maybe Steve, if you have some insight as to who would do that. I know there used to be someone who was a city council member in Charlotte who was basically in charge with Wachovia making donations along, not exactly like that, but
Could be
community
a
involvement.
split situation, you know, half or whatever, then they have to pay half or whatever it is that we're asking, so they
Yeah.
go right off.
And maybe we're talking to the wrong people there.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna donate it, because it's a lot of money, but.
Yeah, and, you know, to be honest, when I spoke with Bill, you know, he said that the person who's in charge of this land is their asset manager.
Right.
Who was completely separate from their charitable contributions, administrator, so.
Here's an idea. They have the same piece of property we're talking about certifying. So we're gonna certify a piece of property for them, so that they can sell it and put an industrial site on it. Am I not seeing that correctly, Steve? So we're gonna certify a piece of property for them and help them try to push that piece of property. What do you think it is they could do for us on this piece of
It's gonna
property?
help, it's only gonna help them.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely, so we.
And we're not talking to the real estate guy about certifying that piece of property. We're talking to the people that represent wells themselves. So, or work at wells.
Absolutely.
So what we need to do is, as we go through this process of certifying this site, now I'm not giving you a yes here by any means, but I am giving you we need to pursue through those channels and those means what we might be able to come up with to try to work a little better deal than $40,000 to $60,000 an acre. Then, you know, we could start to talk serious figures. But, you know, we're scratching their back. I would think there needs to be a little bit of
And I don't think
reciprocation.
that, this guy probably didn't know we're doing
No, probably doesn't have any
this.
idea.
So, we need to probably get a meeting, if we can, with either the real estate and with the asset manager person, and sit down and say, here's what we were gonna do.
I think it's the asset manager. If I bring the real estate agent
Yeah.
in there, and you're
He's not gonna want to do
automatically.
anything.
It's not that they're doing anything wrong, it's just their job is to sell that property for as much as they can and make a
That's how
commission.
Do you know who the asset manager is?
No, I don't. I mean, I can find it out. I can call him tomorrow.
And they might have been in here, that might have been the two guys that Josh talked to when they come in here to talk about that piece of property down here.
And Josh might actually know. I don't know if
Yeah,
he's
that's
in
right.
here. He's the one who gave me Bill's name with Cassie and Curly. So he may.
Are you talking about the gentleman who approached us at EDC?
No, the guys that he talked to that are managing, and I believe they were the asset managers of that piece of property up here. And I could be wrong, it might have been Turley, I'm not sure, but, I believe he said he talked to the asset manager of that piece of property. So, and